Hi, 3Cs. Today we're looking at compound interest. So the last class was simple interest and interest. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to watch your money grow because that's what's so special about compound interest. So you're going to have to watch closely. Now, in case you missed that, we're going to slow it down and I'm going to refresh it. And you'll notice that I'm starting with $1,000. At the end of 1 year, I have made another $100. So this is the principal for my second year. And notice I now have from that $100, I'm now investing $1,100. And from that $1,100, I'm making another $110. So what's happening here is the total amount that I have is going to be $1,210. So that will be my principal for my third year. And so what happens is this just keeps on growing and growing and growing. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, this is exactly what you saw a moment ago. So slow form. So $1,000. Okay, and then what happened is at the end of the first, sorry about that, at the end of the first year, I still have my $1,000, but notice I have $100 added to that. So this becomes the new amount that I'm investing. So now what I'm really doing when I bring this here is this becomes the beginning principal for my second year. So now what I'm investing is not $1,000, I'm actually investing $1,100. And then what happens is at the end of that second year, okay, first year, second year, what I end up with is obviously more money again, and make sure I have it to the height it's supposed to be, and that is way, way, way too large. Bring it down for us to see. That's what I want. Okay, so now what's happened is instead of earning just another $100, I'm earning $110. Right? So what's happening, because the amount that I'm getting interest on has increased, it means the interest I earn also increases. So as I told you on the last page, now what I have is I have $1,210 to be invested. Okay, so that is why people like compound interest, is because it grows much faster. Now the problem also with compound interest is if you're borrowing money and you don't pay any back, you're going to be owing more money as well. So exactly what's the definition of compound interest? It's the method of computing interest where the interest rate is applied to the principal and earned interest. So in short, what we usually say about this is we're actually making interest on interest. So if you were talking to someone, they understand making interest on interest because that is what's so great about compound interest. Now, what we're going to look at now is we're going to actually look at an example to see how that actually works mathematically. All right, so we're looking at compound interest example, and I'm telling you that my interest rate is going to be 10% annually. So what's happening here is my first year, I we'll invest $100. And to figure out this $10, that was from that simple interest. And I don't know if you remember how we did that. We changed the 10% to a decimal. So that would be decimal 1, 0 if you want it, times the principal, which is $100. And when I do that, you can see that I make $10 from that. So that's where my interest earned came from. So my ending balance, if this was my bank account, I have my $100 plus the interest I earned. So I would take those two numbers, add them together to get my ending balance. Now what's going to happen now is we're going to take that $110 and we're going to reinvest it. So we're going to keep it in the bank. And so this time, instead of starting with 100, I'm starting with 110. So taking this number and multiplying it by 0.1, I end up with $11. So I made a dollar more, okay, in interest. And when I add the 110 and the $11, I get 121. I then take that 121, reinvest it into the third year. And so now I take that number to figure out the amount of interest, multiply it by 0.1, and this time, this year, I made $12.10. So from the first year to the third year, now I'm making $2.10 more. Now you're thinking, that's not really a whole lot of extra money. But remember, we're only talking about $100 here. If I was talking about $100,000 or $1 million, that amount really starts to add up. So my ending balance at the end of the third year is my 121 plus my 1210 for $133.10. Now, if I look at the total interest earned, so that's why I have it in a table like this. If I added this all up, I ended up making $33.10. Now, if I compare that to when we did simple interest, same question, except this time it's going to be simple interest. And I'm just going to bring up my table a little bit further for us to see. And again, my first year I have $100. The interest I earned is $100. And my ending balance is 110. Now, if you compare the 110, I had 110 up here as well. The difference being occurs in my second year. In my second year, the amount that they're going to pay me interest on remains the same. So I'm only going to be paid interest again on the $100. So obviously, the amount of interest I earn is only $10. So my ending balance is 120. So you can see I'm comparing this one and this one. So in a sense, I'm losing $1. And if I look at the final year, again, the amount of interest I earn again is still only $10. And my total at the end of that third year is $130 compared to $133.10. Again, remember, the numbers we're working with here are relatively small. Now, if you look at the total, you can see the difference in the total. Now, if you were the person that was putting this in the bank, you would want to choose the one that's going to be more benefit to you. Okay, so you didn't have to work any harder to get $3.10 more by putting it in this type of an account. All right,